Psalms 91 is one of the more well-known psalms in the Bible. Or I should say, it has a well-known reputation. It is often thought of as a messianic psalm, meaning that it applies to Jesus Christ himself. And there is certainly that aspect to it. However, I believe that there is another layer to this psalm, a layer that is in the text that has largely been forgotten in Christian circles today. This layer, as you may have guessed from the title of today's study, has to do with our position in Christ Jesus today, and the many blessings that come with that. There is an entire treasure trove of blessings here that have, for the most part, been left unclaimed, for no other reason than no one is being told about them. An issue that I am going to solve today in this study. Welcome to Thriving Branch. I'm Jim. And before we get started today, let me just wish you a Happy New Year. This is the start of the new year, January 3rd at the time of this video. And it's a time when most people are already beginning their New Year's resolutions. And we're going to begin one today here as well. And that is to claim everything that Jesus has paid for us to have. I made that promise to myself a long time ago, that I am going to receive everything that Jesus paid for me to have. Everything that he has given to me, I want to receive it. And hopefully that's true for you as well. So as we begin today, we are looking at Psalms 91. And the many blessings therein. This is going to be a multi-part study because there is just so much here. So let's not waste any more time and get right into it. Turn to Psalms 91, obviously, as we explore the wonderful truths in this chapter. Truths that are ours today in Christ, as we see right in verse 1. And verse 1 says, "He that dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." Now we have studied this in the past many times, but dwelling and abiding implies a permanent home or residence. It's not something temporary, but something constant. It implies shelter. It implies covering, a place of safety. And as we see here in verse 1, the person who dwells or permanently resides in the secret place of the Most High shall live under the shadow of the Almighty. Now, to live under the shadow of the Almighty is an amazing thing, as we will be reading about today. This is not a dark cloud or a shadow of heaviness, but it's a place of absolute protection and peace. You can get there by dwelling in the secret place of the Most High. And what is this secret place? Well, put simply, it is in Christ. And we have done entire studies on being in Christ before, and all of what that means and what is included in that. The aspect of being in Christ that is relevant here, and what I want to focus on today, is the personal aspect of it. Because being in Christ is not primarily a group experience. It's not an aspect of corporate worship. It's not something that you only do in a church building type of setting. But it is something that you enjoy personally. It's something that you enjoy alone, by yourself, just you and God. It is there, in the quiet, in the alone times, when your relationship with God can truly flourish. It is there where you will find out just how deep your relationship with God currently is, and how very deep it can go. David writes about this quite passionately in another psalm, Psalms 63. I want you to hold your place here, Psalms 91, and just for a moment turn to Psalm 63, and let's read verses 3 through 8. Because you'll see about David writing about his personal relationship with God here. Psalms chapter 63, verses 3 through 8. Let's read it together. Ready? 1, 2, read. Because your loving kindness is better than life, my lips shall praise you. Thus will I bless you while I live. I will lift up my hands in your name. My soul shall be satisfied as with marrow and fatness, and my mouth shall praise you with joyful lips. When I remember you on my bed and meditate on you in the night watches, because you have been my help, therefore in the shadow of your wings will I rejoice. My soul follows hard after you. Your right hand upholds me. These are not experiences in public. I want you to see that. These are not corporate worship sessions that David is writing about here. These are private, personal, even intimate times where David is simply enjoying the presence and the person of God and letting his soul overflow with the joy that comes from knowing God. This is the experience that everyone that knows God should be having. This should be regular and normal, not something that seems strange or out of place. And as we return to Psalms chapter 91, we can see that David uses very similar language when speaking of dwelling in the shadow of the Lord's wings. There is something about remembering the Lord, remembering the way that God has helped you in the past, that just brings a peace and a calmness to your soul. I keep a diary on my computer. Not a typical diary, mind you, but one which lists all of the ways I am aware of and all of the times that God has personally helped me, blessed me, or shown me things, shown me his power, or otherwise performed miracles in my life. I record all those things. It's basically my version of David's Psalms, because David would always encourage himself by remembering what God has done. And I'm doing the exact same thing. This hopefully is giving you a clear picture of the personal aspect of all of this. How the relationship between you and God is exactly that. A relationship between you and God. At the end of it all, there's only two people that matter here. Again, you and God. All of the church stuff, all of the traditions, services, and minutiae that we fill our time with really doesn't matter when it comes to the heart of the relationship here. In much the same way that if you spend all of your time working for your spouse and you don't spend any quality time with your spouse, then you don't really have any relationship at all. I said this in a study about a year ago, but it's a good example. The situation is kind of like this. God says to you, spend time with me. And you say, I can't. Service starts in 10 minutes. God says, talk to me. You say, maybe later. I have a conference to go to right now. God says, let's just sit and reason together. You say, sorry, I'm ministering tonight. It may seem silly when I explain it that way, but for many people, that's exactly what their relationship with God looks like today. We want to do all of these things. He wants us to just spend time with Him. We want to learn all of these deep truths. He wants us to just receive His love. We want to be involved in all of these ministries. He wants us to be filled with His Spirit. We want to be used in all of these different ways. Just receive, enjoy, and let yourself receive His love. My friend, I believe we have missed the point of this whole thing. All of the amazing promises mentioned in Psalms 91, they are all sub-blessings compared to the one master blessing. An unhindered, unfettered, unrestrained relationship with Himself. To live in the secret place of the Most High. To know the kind of absolute peace and safety that only comes from being in Christ. If you want to know this experience, if you want to have this kind of relationship with Jesus Christ today, it's very simple. Just ask. Tell Him that you would like to have such a relationship. Ask and it will be given to you. No tricks. No strings. No dangling carrot. No bait and switch. In part 2, we will explore all of the blessings that accompany a life inside of the secret place of the Most High as we continue reading Psalms 91. Get ready, because they're amazing. And I hope that as we continue this study, it expands your vision to receive everything that Jesus paid for you to have. Until next time, be blessed.